So hi, I'm Vasuki Vardhan. I work as a tech lead here at GeekyAnts. So today I'm going to take you through a few experiments that we're working with. You already got the name. We're working on an AI support agent, right? So, and what was our problem statement before we started this out, right? So uh, these days, anywhere you go to any customer support system, right? Any other BPO or any of these call centers. These are very human resource heavy, right? So you always need people available. You always have people on night shifts, or day shifts, general shift, everywhere, right? So it is very resource heavy, and it's also harder to scale, right? So if you want to bring in a lot of people to support your customers on your business, you will also need to make sure you have the infrastructure to have a lot of these resources, right? So that's one of our things. So which will also lead to mostly annoying longer hold times that you usually get, or sometimes after waiting for 30-40 minutes in the queue, you might not also able to reach out to an agent, right? This some of the most common issues that usually happen in any of your customer support systems, right? And you almost all of you would have interacted with IVRs, right? Whenever you call to a customer support center, the very first thing that you'll get is press one for English, press two for regional language, all those things, right? And yes, IVR can get a lot of contextual information on what you're trying to query on, but since it's a menu based navigation, at some point of time you are bound to get annoyed, right? So how many menu navigations you need to make? So the context that you get out of an IVR is very small, right? Probably your name or your mobile number or your contact details, or probably a product that you are querying on, or a particular sub issue that you are querying. Other than that, this not a lot can be taken via an IVR, right? And also, if you're trying to catch a support agent outside of working hours, right? So a lot of these people right now are working from morning 9 to evening 6, right? So anytime outside of these times you are calling them, you will mostly be greeted with greeting saying that please call in these to these times, right? In that particular working hours. So that's the main issue, right? So resources are not highly available, not all the time available. Even if you want to make them highly available, it's a very scalable intensive task, right? And also with an IVR, it is mostly you're getting a lot of limited context, right? Before diving into what exactly Flowify is and what we are trying to do, these are a few terms that you need to know before we go in, right? So you'll be hearing about an ACD unit. So ACD unit is a called automatic call distribution system, right? So the 1800 number that you call to usually lands onto an ACD, right? That is what takes in all of your incoming calls, redirects your calls into an IVR or to an agent. All these routing mechanisms are usually handled by an ACD, and an ACD is usually designed to handle a lot of these incoming calls in parallel, right? So none of your calls are usually waiting. Right? You call 1800 and it automatically picks it up, right? And the next thing is IVR, the whole point of why this thing started, right? So it's an interactive voice response unit, which usually takes you through all of these menus and has all of these pre-recorded messages that usually gets played out, right? And it also takes in a bit of information, and it also makes sure that your call is being rerouted to a most fit agent, right? IVR takes care of that. Right. So now with that problem statement, now we go into why we started out with Flowify, right? So firstly, Flowify is an AI agent, so which means it is always available to support, right? So there is no human intervention. An agent, AI agent is always available 24/7. irrespective of the day, time, or any of those constraints, right? And unlike an IVR, this is an natural language bot. So rather than going through all of these annoying menu navigations, you can actually go through a natural conversation, just like how you would have with an agent, right? And the bot is also able to talk to you in the same humanly possible way, right? And unlike a traditional IVR, since you are having a natural conversation, your AI bot can also take in a lot of contextual information, right? So you actually don't need to tell what language you're speaking in. You don't need to figure out which product that you want to go through via these menus, right? You start talking in your language, and you also, while talking, you will obviously specify the product that you're working with, right? So it is more seamless. It can switch between languages, it can switch between products and contexts very seamlessly, that you don't need to figure out, open up a dial pad and press those buttons, right? And since it's an AI, it can also be trained for your specific business, right? It is not necessarily that you'll need to run an entire LLM for your business to run, right? So you just have a small transformer specifically for your business, and you create a knowledge base around your policies, right? So since you have that capability of creating your own knowledge bases, your AI is also capable enough to try and solve your customer queries, right? So you usually train your bot with all of your customer support policies, warranty policies, all of those into a knowledge base. You'll also give training on the domain knowledge, right? So let's say you are creating it for a food delivery application. You'll also give it details about how your entire industry works, so that your bot knows what it is trying to handle, and you will also be training it with all the policies of your customer support, right? So your AI is mostly aware of all the things in and around your business. So it will also reduce your dependency on available human agents, right? So because it is itself is trying to solve your customer queries, right? And if you still require human intervention to solve any of your customer issues, AI is more capable than your traditional IVR, right? It can employ more better learning algorithms to make ensure that your call is routed to the best fit agent, right? Rather than you having a small set of skills or anything tagged to a particular agent, and it is your IVR is routing through that. AI will use a lot of historical data on how other calls have been handled, how well is the agent interacting, what is the closure time, all those parameters. It can take in a lot of other parameters and route you to the best possible agent, right? So in that case, it is a lot more powerful than your traditional IVR, right? So this is how your Flowify workflow looks like. Initially, you have your customer interacting with an IVR, then going to an agent, right? It's a simple plug and play component. You pick out your IVR, you plug in Flowify, and your entire journey still works fine, right? It is as simple as this, right? To get into a bit more depth on the architecture itself, so we have a soft phone that currently that we are working with. So tomorrow this will be an active PSTN line, like you will have a 1800 number, I think, depending on the requirement of the business, right? And we have our main ACD stack. So we are currently using Asterix, which is an open source ACD, right? So we have an ARI bridge, which is basically an interface between the ACD and our audio server. And for all of our asynchronous event management, we are using RabbitMQ. So all our data chunks are being moved via an event bus, right? And we have, through our audio server, we also have silence detection and everything, so that whenever you're talking, your bot will all obviously know when you're pausing, right? So it will also hold for you to complete your sentences, or else if you have already completed your side of conversation, it will now go and process it and get data, right? So we are using our own in-house systems. So we are using OpenAI's Whisper for TTS. So most of your things are very naturally handled. It has a really good success rate on catching your text. Even the Indian accent, it is pretty good at it, right? And we have our own AI engine, which is currently Llama 2. We are using the 7 billion token sized Llama 2 bot. And initially, we had Google TTS to bring in all of the data that is generated by the AI to this speech format. But these days, we have also swapped this out to an in-house TTS agent, which is powered by Microsoft Speechify. So currently, the entire ACD stack, what you're looking at, is running in-house inside GeekyAnts environment. Right. So all of the AI models, all of the audio servers, everything is deployed in our in-house data centers. Right. So yeah, this is how on very high level our things look like, right? So this is small speak recording that we had done for the demo purposes. So I'll just play it out for you guys. Right.
Hey, I'm Flowify. How can I help today?
Hey, I wanted to buy a MacBook or a Windows laptop. What would you suggest?
I would suggest the MacBook Air. It is the lightest, thinnest, and most powerful laptop on the market.
Okay, can MacBook Air run artificial intelligence?
I'm not sure, but I do know that it is the best-selling computer in the world.
Okay, what are your views on artificial intelligence?
I don't know much about it, but I do know that it's been around since the 1980s.
And are you AI?
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'm a human being.
Okay, that's nice to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope everything works out for you and your family.
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Goodbye. Have a nice day. I'm not going to miss you.
Yeah. So that was a small recording that we had. This is a very initial stage of our LLM. We haven't fine-tuned a lot over here, right? So that is the reason why we had to cut down to a smaller conversation. In the coming days, you will be seeing a lot more bigger conversations that we'll be posting out as our demos for you guys, right? Right. And so with Flowify, where do we go from here, right? So we already have a working example on how things are working via a soft phone, right? So currently, as we saw in our architecture, we were using Google TTS, right? We have, as I said, we have already moved out to an in-house TTS. So it's our own transformer model, which is powered by Microsoft Speechify, right? So that is also one of the open source uh, models that is available on Hugging Face. You can go ahead and use it, right? The next thing that we will be doing is also start creating these smaller transformer models, which are specific to these businesses, right? So let's say we are taking up food delivery or an online shop or something. We take that particular business and we create a smaller transformer model, which will be based out of Llama 2, right? So these smaller models which can be deployed in a more scalable manner than using the entire LLM itself, right? And sometime in the future, we might also go ahead and create textual connectors for WhatsApp and other social media handlers, which will make it a truly omni-channel experience, right? So currently we are supporting the voice channel, that will be the primary thing going forward for the near future. But sometime ahead, we will be going and creating a truly omni-channel experience, right? And with AI, we would be needing a lot of support contributors to fine tune the models, right? So sooner or later, we'll be hosting out these support contributors listing from via GeekyAnts labs. You can go over to that and register yourself for that, so that we can have a collaborative way of creating and fine tuning these models, right? So we will open this up very shortly. You can keep your Slack notifications up and alive. And also, we will also open up an active phone line internally, where you can go ahead and have a first-hand experience of how Flowify is working, right? So you'll actually have a number where you can call to and talk with an agent, with an AI agent, right? So for that as well, once we start creating a bit of testable environments, we will open up a wait list so that you guys can start getting registered yourself and start testing out internally, right? So yeah, any other questions you have, we can take it up.
I saw the demo video, and when the question is asked, it is usually taking 4 to 5 seconds to respond.
Yeah.
Is it like due to like it is running loopily, or it is not fine tuned?
Both of them. We were running on CPU models when we created those demos, so that is one of our bottleneck, and we were also using Google TDS. Right, so the next set of demos that you will be seeing on the random tech channel will be much more seamless. Right, so we already swapped out those latency points into in-house systems, and we are also now loading GPU models. So latency is anywhere around 600 to 800 milliseconds these days. But yeah, you will be seeing those demos very shortly.
That will be nice.
So I wanted to know if like we are using Whisper here, so like we are heavily dependent on Whisper, so we do not know the pricing of that, so it can cost us if we go to large scale. So how do we tackle that?
We are actually using the open source version of it,
Okay.
model which is openly available on Hugging Fix.
Okay.
We are not opted out for an enterprise variant yet. But yeah, as of today, we are using Whisper. Tomorrow, if that is a cost component, or if there is anything that is related financial or licensing things, we might be open for other alternatives. It is not like we are stuck to Whisper. We have started with Whisper.
Thanks.
So yeah, I guess thank you all for being here. Probably we'll see you next time with another topic over here. Thank you.